Hello everybody and welcome to another bootleg bonanza. In today's video I'm taking a look at something a little bit different, something I really wasn't kind of expecting to ever happen. Today we're taking a look at a KO of the 3A Deluxe Bumblebee. Something that's just random. You know, I wasn't expecting this, didn't really have any knowledge of this until it kind of surfaced on the market. It comes in a plastic clamshell, comes in those big brown mailers that we get from some of these bootleg companies now. But we get accessories, we get stands, and we get a Bumblebee to boot. And here we have him out of his plastic prison. In all intents and purposes, he does look incredible. He looks very much like the 3A Bumblebee. It doesn't quite feel exactly the same. The sheen on this is much higher. It's kind of more of a gloss, heavy wearing paint. That'll be more noticeable when we compare the two side by side, but it's a very solid figure. We do get all of those accessories as well. Now I believed this to be 14 inches. That was the translation that I got sent over, which it clearly isn't. It's still about an 8-inch figure, the same as the original Deluxe Bumblebee, which was a little disheartening because I thought a 14-inch one, it's not a direct KO, it's something different then. But yeah, this is exactly the same size as the original. He's an incredibly well balanced figure, strikes an impressive pose, but that's really all down to 3A with the original engineering. But he does have an absolutely amazing shelf presence. Now this KO is not without its flaws. I'll cover those shortly, but this thing's just not quite tabbing in as nicely and as cleanly as I would like. But this does have a lot going for it, especially considering the price. Here we have a comparison of the two together, and you can clearly see the paint decals differ tremendously with the 3A compared to the bootleg. Not necessarily all bad though. Sometimes people like a kind of more pristine look. The thing that strikes me as a bit odd with this is they've gone for kind of the dirtier, kind of war-torn look for the VW parts, but then all of the kind of mechanical parts, all of the metal that's visible, they've gone for more of a pristine look. It's still got a kind of a cloudy dirt to it, but I just think I prefer the 3A's kind of darker materials being used. But you can see they are pretty much identical. If there are any differences, then it's probably degradation now where they've reverse engineered the mold, but it does look very nice indeed. This here is my biggest gripe. These don't peg in properly to those pinning ports. You push them and the pin actually moves in this section, so it protrudes as opposed to pushing in as deeply as I would like. That is actually the same with both sets of door wings that we get. But clearly Bumblebee. Now, as handsome as not Bumblebee looks, he does come with a bundle of accessories. We get his rifle arm, which again we can just untab his arm and slot this on. See, this is much more of a kind of darker weathered look, much more in keeping with the original, in my opinion. We get the fists as standard. We get 2 of these open palm hands. We get 2 of these kind of battle ready, or maybe like whoa, back off, I don't want to fight hands. We get the doors that I've already attached to the back. We get the full doors as well, including the door latch and the door handle. We get his battle mask, which does look nice. I do love the Bumblebee battle mask from Bumblebee the movie. And we also get a base display stand. This time not sporting the Transformers logo, because, you know, we don't want to breach copyright, do we? Right, now hands are nice and easy to change. They just unpeg. There's a nice solid ball joint there, and we can just bring in our alternative hands and they just slide up and over. These wing pieces on the back here, again, should be relatively easy to change if the pin was to go in as it should. And just bring that out and then come in, and we can just bring that in. I don't know why they've made the pin so long. It just doesn't really want to go all the way in. There we go. That's the door on like that, though. Actually, I'll keep that on there like that, I think, just to separate these two so we can tell what is what. So let's plug that one back in. There we go. There he is with his door hinges on the back. Right, now, taking the heads apart, we have a battery operated system in here. You press the autobody insignia and it makes the blue LED lights light up. These require two AG13s or LR44 batteries. All of mine are actually in my MP44 KO at the moment. So I'm going to have to get a big stock of these batteries in, because this is getting silly. Every single figure that arrives seems to need a different type of battery. It would have been nice to get a heads up of what requires what. So we do get an innard section in both heads. Just have to take the top cap off and the button faces down. So let's just remove that head like so, and bring in the battle damage kind of wasp armor head. There we go. I like that. And now we get a proper decent comparison shot of these two. I don't know if that is that just not down as much. If I shut it down a little bit, it looks a bit surprised. It's just cleaner. You give it like a black wash or something over that, be noticeably, it wouldn't be that dissimilar really. But don't be conned, don't be sold a 3A figure or Threezero figure when it's not. I'm not here to pimp out the KOs here. Just bear in mind that they exist. They're never going to go away. They're going to keep coming under different names and guises, but my job here is to help us identify which is which and then give the people a choice. If they choose to go the KO route, fair enough, but don't pretend that it's anything other than a KO of the official. I think the details aren't quite as pronounced, are they? This makes me chuckle a bit. Look, we've got all this nice darkened detail on the 3A. Come around to the back, it's quite lighter. And then we've got really dark detail on the back of the KO. And it's lighter on the front. So you can kind of mix and match those to make them work. And yes, the parts are all interchangeable. So if you have any breakages on your 3A, and you don't have the receipts or it's out of warranty, you can switch and change out the parts and they work quite successfully. Now, as the KO doesn't come with a set of instructions, you still have to be mindful of the same problematic points we had on the 3A. To change out his forearm, this piece here is going to slide down. We have this elbow protector piece, which can still slot on. Like so, and then this cannon arm is going to come back on. It's kind of just tidies that section up. He does look good with that, doesn't he? We have the antennae, which can be lifted like so. Articulation wise, the head is on a neck pivot as well as a ball socket, so we've got lots and lots of range there. Lovely quizzical tilting. Arms can come out on a twisting section there. We have a butterfly joint as well, brings them right the way around to the front. We have some motion on the elbow pads. The arm itself can come out of this joint and lift up nicely and back down again. Rotation on the inside there. We've got a nice bend on the elbow, but it comes all the way up, giving us a really substantial kind of range on here. We have the rotations on the wrist, a little bit of pivot left and right on those wrists as well. We have an upper torso crunch, really nice. So I love how that bends forward because we expose all of that spinal piece of Bumblebee. We can crunch to the side. We have a waist rotation as well as a crunch forwards and backwards. The rotation on the waist isn't really great. Majority of that motion is in that upper torso piece. The rest is just kind of an extra little bit of flex. The legs are very stiff, but they can come all the way up and all the way back that far. We can come out to the side. This piece here is somewhat of a hindrance, but it's on a hinge which comes up, which then allows a little bit of extra range on those legs, and then we can slide that back down. We can come out to the side about that much. Again, these are quite a hindrance. We have a lovely joint on that knee, a very kind of natural looking joint. Love the way that moves, and we get up and down on those feet. You get some pivoting side to side, and we've got lovely range up and down on the toes as well. So he's a really solid piece. He's not going to fall over. I'm less worried about breaking him than I am the 3A version, mainly because they've already taken him apart, I guess, and they've tried to correct any issues that the 3A may have had, and it's a fraction of the cost as well. It's still not a cheap figure by any means, but it's a non-transforming action figure and an extremely robust one at that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you have the 3A Bumblebee? If you do, any point in getting this? No, not really. Not unless you then intend to sell your 3A Bumblebee and just keep this one in your collection. Is this a viable option if you don't already have the 3A Bumblebee? Yes, I believe it is. It is a remarkably well done piece. It's solid. It holds a good pose. The paint applications aren't as good, in my opinion, as 3A. The 3A is the original and it works better, in my opinion. But if you're on a budget and you want a movie accurate Bumblebee, then this could well be the bootleg for you. Thanks again to TF Direct for making this review possible. This is an early sample that was sent through to them and they forwarded it on to me for me to give them some feedback. I highly recommend they stock it. It is a really nice piece, but bear in mind that it is a KO and it is not the official 3A product. Thank you all for taking the time out of your busy days to watch my content, and thank you again to all of my Patreons, old and new, that continue to help this channel plod along. Without you, I am nothing. I mean that. Thank you all so much for your continued support. You guys and gals are absolutely awesome. From myself and the rest of the Collectables household, thank you all for watching. Goodbye.